Hello and welcome to Cape Expectations. Now we've got another packed show for you today. We're going to be talking about the possible titles of the film. We're going to be talking to...
Got like a Hunger Games special.
Yeah.
We always keep saying like, oh, we've got a packed show, but we were just talking just now, like we thought when we started this show that we'd have to be like fill-in weeks where stuff wouldn't happen.
Yeah, quiet weeks, busy weeks.
That's
but
never happened
no,
since we
yeah.
started. But this week we've got Stanley Tucci, Elizabeth Banks, and Thor's brother and Josh Hutcherson talking about their favourite ones. Their one is particularly good. But yeah, the first thing up is Warner Brothers has been registering a bunch of URLs of the possible titles. So these are the ones they've registered so far. Man of Steel, Battle of the Night. Night is spelled with a K. Very clever, Warner. Man of Steel, Beyond Darkness. Man of Steel, Black of Night. Night is also spelled with a K. Man of Steel, Darkness Falls. Man of Steel, Night Falls. Night is also spelled with a K. Man of Steel, Shadow of the Night.
No
Night, not spelled with a K.
Okay.
Man of Steel, The Blackest Hour. Man of Steel, The Darkness Within. Any of those stand out for you, really?
Shadow of the Night is alright.
Right. None of them do anything,
okay.
really.
No.
Black of Night, that sounds a bit too like Green Lantern for me.
It's weird. Like, the thing that I don't like is the fact that they all have Man of Steel preceding them.
That's a good point.
Now, I really enjoyed Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and
Yeah.
Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. So you think they could just get rid of that? But then
Yes.
none of these, though, like Battle of the Night, but like, none of these work without Man of Steel, I don't think. And none of them are good enough to
But
stand
what
on
I'm
their
saying
own,
is,
you know?
The Dark Knight was
Yeah.
fine on its own. You didn't need Batman Begins before it.
No.
So
But that's fair enough, though.
they need to think of a title.
Exactly,
None of
yeah,
these
yeah.
work.
None of these work by themselves.
No. And
Darkness Fall sounds like a rubbish like horror movie that comes around
does.
Valentine's Day.
And Man of Steel Beyond Darkness, it's like Star Trek Into Darkness.
It's all you can just see is like, oh yeah, we've got to be dark. The sequel's got to be dark.
Yeah.
It's like night, darkness, darkness. It's like, come on, guys.
Shadows and Night.
But yeah, we asked you guys what you thought. My favorite one was actually on the story on TotalFilm.com.
Oh, nice.
And this is some of the ones that this guy has suggested. Man of Steel, Dark Shadow of Marvel. Man of Steel, Dark Times Ahead for DC. Man of Steel, Beyond Belief. Man of Steel, We Wish We Were Marvel. Alternatively, Man of Steel, How We Killed Off Batman Again and Took Down Superman 2 in 3D.
Now, that's pretty negative. Slightly more positive. Richard says, if they insist on having Man of Steel and Night in the title, at least make it Man of Steel versus The Dark Knight.
That's too much, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Do you think they can't have... Like, Batman vs Superman sounds a little bit cartoony. So that's probably why they're sort of going a little bit different with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's slightly odd because all of the Warner execs, whenever they talked about it, have called it Batman versus Superman. They haven't said Man of Steel 2. I mean, I do quite like Shadow of the Night. It's, you know...
But Man of Steel, Shadow of the Night.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. No.
Yeah.
No.
On the site as well. Man of Steel, Chibik says, Man of Steel, Black of Night is the best one for me. The rest of them all suck, actually.
Oh, dear. See,
But I mean, they don't...
it's not positive out there.
No.
Stephen Sheehy says, Batman vs Superman is one of the most exciting movie titles ever. Correct. Why would they bother calling it anything else?
But as I said, like, it's a bit cartoony, isn't it? Like, Batman versus Superman, so it does sound like...
It's cool, though.
Yeah, I guess it says, but I mean, you're not leaving yourself open then for anything that can happen in that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are going to go in thinking, okay, well, inevitably there has to be a showdown between Batman and Superman, which we don't even know is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't really need... Whereas some of these titles...
No, you're right.
Like, a little bit more ambiguous, like
Yeah.
Beyond Darkness, Black of Night, you know, Shadow of the Night, The Blackest Hour, Man of Steel, The Blackest Hour.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's not too bad. But again, it's just really sort of stereotypical, like, you know, people... if you ever, like, all the Harry Potter movies do it, all like Hunger Games and stuff, you always hear of them going, oh yeah, the next film's going to be much darker. It's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And like Nightfall, is it Nightfall or Nightfalls? Nightfalls.
Yeah.
And that's unambiguous as well. It's basically saying Batman's going to get beaten up by Superman.
Yeah, like Nightfall. I think that's definitely not going to be right because
No,
that has
no
too
way.
many connotations in the world of Batman and obviously like.
And
the
it
Big
links
Bane
to
story.
Dark Knight
Exactly,
Rises, so yeah.
I
Okay,
think so.
couple more suggestions. Nick Scurfield says, Last Son, First Night. Can have that, you can.
The thing I like Last Son First Night probably won't be the title, but I can see that being an awesome poster tagline.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
damn right. Declan Mackin says, Man of Steel Apocalypse sounds pretty badass to me. David Long says, Man of Steel Beyond Darkness stands head and shoulders above the other titles for me. It seems fitting and indicative of a fresh new take after Nolan's trilogy, but not too fresh after Star Trek Into Darkness. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It just sounds so much like that.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan at all.
But you know, you never know. These might be URLs for video games, or you know, could be anything. Please call it Batman versus Superman. Not just because you know we've designed a nice banner.
So let's get the first of our guests up. Then we spoke to Liam Hemsworth and Josh Hutcherson from the Hunger Games, but they, rather than tell us who they thought they preferred between Batman and Superman, they just launched straight into who they thought would win in a fight between Batman and Superman.
I think it's a ridiculous question. No offense. Pardon me. It's a ridiculous question because Superman is unkillable and has super strength unless you have kryptonite, which I don't think Batman's going to have on him.
Batman's just a man.
He's just a dude with a lot of money and some cool gadgets and a vigilante heart.
Yeah. I like Batman. I
like Batman more.
Batman better than
I'm
Superman.
I'm
I
the same
don't
boat.
think that he has a chance.
He doesn't have
fighting
any
Superman.
chance. None.
No chance at all.
Zilch.
None.
Nada.
If there was a chance,
Zero.
it's not here.
I really like the way that Liam Hemsworth pretty much just took over that entire shot. Like, Josh Hutcherson's quite a small guy anyway, but Hemsworth just like, hello, please talk to me. Like, he's so big, man.
Yeah, he is huge.
But I thought that was really, really good. But the next bit we've got to go on to is Christian Bale this week threw out some advice with Affleck. So he was sort of, I think he was in an interview with MTV where he was talking about the casting and things like that and how he came up with the voice of Batman, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And what was the advice that he threw out to him? I think there's a lot of stuff, it was quite comic, it was mostly stuff about going for a pee in the batsuit and things like that.
Yeah, he also said that that Ben Affleck shouldn't worry about the haters and that, you know, they finished their take, he's taking over and someone will take over after him.
Do you think, I mean, if I was any like Hollywood actor, don't think I would care about the haters. I can't imagine Affleck is even going like, oh well, he's been cast, he's been paid his money, he's going to do the best job that he can. He's not going to be like sitting at home going through internet forums and stuff like that, is he?
And linked to that, this is one of my favourite comments, like the best comments we've had. Thomas Potts says his advice for Ben Affleck is, Ben, don't listen to any of the haters. Do the best Batman that you can be. If the script is good, work with it. If it's crap, just try to have fun and we'll probably have fun with you. That is brilliant advice from Thomas Potts.
Although it does seem like advice you give to like the Milk Monitor kids, just like, be the best Batman that you can be.
It's good advice. Be the best Batman you can be.
Craig Meekin on Twitter says, don't be a shit Batman. No one likes a shit Batman.
That's also good advice.
That is true.
People really don't like a shit Batman.
I really like some people. I think you've got one, but I really like a couple of the jokey ones. People were actually giving him advice as if they were talking to Batman, not to Ben Affleck. So, Mild Comic Violence on Twitter says, "You must become more than just a man in the mind of your opponent."
Ooh, that's nice.
That is
Yeah.
I think you've got that one there.
Oh yeah. Jamie Hetherington says, "Never dance with the devil in the pale moonlight."
Yeah, that's
Very
really,
good
really
advice.
good advice. Ed Feetham on Facebook says, "I'd say to Affleck, not that I can really comment, don't copy Bale or Keaton or anyone. Do your own take. Batman thrives on different interpretations, so as long as he gets the key points right, don't copy anything else."
On Twitter, Stephen Niche says, "Ben, don't listen to Christian Bale."
Ooh.
So I don't know what that's about. Maybe he doesn't want him to be able to go to the toilet.
Yeah, maybe.
But Bale was a pretty good Batman, so...
I liked Bale's voice. I know it's quite a controversial thing and some people didn't like it, but I never had a problem with Bale's voice, ever. Like, I know it was silly and it was over the top,
Yeah,
but
it sounded
had
a
to
little
be.
bit like a Disney cartoon wolf. But other than that, no. I mean, you know, you've got to change up the voice.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Conroy does it best in Batman the animated series.
Yeah.
I think it's just enough. But
I wonder what it'll be like. I really like the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum Batman's voice. I think that's really, really good.
That's Conroy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, it's not quite cartoony, but it's just bang on the money, sort of like really sort of gruff and like authoritative. I think that's really, really good. But then you don't get to really hear his Bruce Wayne voice that much. The tiny bit in Arkham City where you see him with Bruce Wayne, and he uses the exact same voice.
Right. Well, we shall see. I'm really looking forward to that first trailer.
Yeah. Well, it's that time of the week that everyone has been
Yeah.
looking for, the Luther League. And this has been one of my favourite weeks, and we're actually starting to run out of space now.
I mean, that is ridiculous. Can you see that?
We've decided that we're not actually going to take any of them down ever, so we've never rubbed any off.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep them all on there.
Yes.
It gets really, really silly. But top 5 hasn't changed. Bryan Cranston, Mark Strong, Ben Kingsley, Woody Harrelson, Jason Clarke. We've got some really, really, really good
Luther
ones
has
this week.
got to be on there, the actual Luther, surely.
Well,
how many
that's
names
why-
have we got there now? Like 40?
Yeah.
At least.
It's ridiculous. A couple of comments we got from Gustav Lauritsen, who says, what about Mads Mikkelsen for Luther? He's never been bald, but being Danish myself, I've seen him in so many movies, and his performances are always amazing. And he's good at playing villains. Gustav, where have you been, man? He was top 5 one week, and he has been bald.
He's still on there.
Yeah, he's still on this somewhere.
Right down the bottom, but
sweet.
he's
Okay,
there,
good.
and
That's
we
good.
like him.
That's fine.
Luke Abelman says, Christoph Waltz. He has the charm and menace to pull off a truly awesome Lex Luthor.
That's a good one.
Completely agree
That's
with
a
that.
really, really good one, yeah.
The only negative I'd say is he was in Green Hornet as the villain, and obviously that wasn't so great.
But his villain in that is a bit different though, because it's meant
Yeah.
to be like a mob boss type.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
do
that's
you know what
true.
I mean?
That's
So,
true.
But I think he didn't play a mob boss particularly well. But go back to Inglourious Bastards, like
Yeah, oh
that
my
guy's an
God.
evil person who you can't help but love.
Oh my God, Hans Lander style Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
that would be so good.
Terrifying as well.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
We've also got this is my favourite one, and this is one that I genuinely went. This is a good one. This is from Steve Legendbauer. Oh, a friend of the show. I don't think he'd take the role, as these days it only seems to be taking serious roles in smaller films, but I think Joaquin Phoenix would make a really good Luther. And he really would.
Oh my God, he'd be so good.
He would be awesome. I think he'd do something really weird with it, along the same lines as like Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
he'd do something really odd and really strange with it. And
But he would never do it.
really?
Yeah, there's no way.
I don't know, man.
Do you reckon? I mean, if like...
He strikes me as someone who can. I mean, this is not taking the piss out of yourself. This is a huge movie, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
it's
absolutely.
quite dark, as those titles say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so if you see, probably something like in The Master, I know he plays like an absolute cartoon character in that, but like, he has a bit of fun with that, and in that fake documentary he made with Casey Affleck as well.
yeah,
Like,
I'm Still Here. I love I'm Still Here.
He can poke fun at it.
Oh, completely. Yeah, and obviously he did Gladiator, and he is
horrible in Gladiator. As
perfect.
well.
Like that's
Nasty,
Luther style.
Smarmy.
Yeah, but I think he's only interested in independent stuff. He's just not interested in being part of the system anymore. So it's a shame, but I don't think it's happening.
Who else we got?
Dr. Chitter says Peter Dinklage as Lex.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I'd be up for that. It'd be a completely different thing. Obviously, he's in the Marvel at the moment. He's gonna be
Exactly.
in X-Men. So, and you'd think that the thing that they're doing with his character in X-Men, he probably is going to be in a few of the X-Men. So I would have thought he's going to be part of that universe for a while, maybe. So
I just think
maybe
he's too tied up with that. But otherwise, he is amazing and does Sinister very well.
Who else we got?
How about Sean Penn or De Niro for Luther, says Chris Dormer. Shame James Spader is in the Marvel Universe, as I think he'd have been great. Absolutely.
James Spader would have been really good, but then I think you would have been going more along lines like the spacey Luther, I think. And I don't think that they're going to go that way with it. I think he's going to be...
You're so right.
I don't even think he's going to be bald. Like, I really throw it out there. I don't think he's going to be bald. There's something I don't know. I think he's going to be...
Do you think he's going to have hair at first and then something's going to happen, like Superman burns off his hair with his red eyes?
Yeah, or like he burns it off in an explosion with the Batmobile or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
I don't know. I think it's going to be someone like Fassbender, that type of like cool, suave.
I still think Cumberbatch,
Can you be cool
man.
and suave and be
Why
bold?
isn't Cumberbatch in our top 5?
He was at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he should go back in there because, like, Cumberbatch, I don't know, I think he's got it.
Yeah?
Especially if they call it Man of Steel Beyond Darkness. Come on.
Yeah, he's already got his height to it. Have we got any more?
Damn Fine Cup of Coffee says, maybe I'm taking crazy pills, but Army Hammer for Lex Luthor.
I like Army Hammer, but...
He's got the upper class douchebag stick down pat, the build, the voice, the creepiness.
I mean, we put him on there because we do not say no to any names. Even Dean Norris is on there. So.
But he is right down at the bottom in tiny writing. Because, no, I just don't think... It's looking like he's probably going to be Ant-Man. I don't know, like...
No, Army Hammer's got to be Aquaman.
Oh my god, that would be so good!
Yeah. Army Hammer as Aquaman. New 2 Aquaman. He'd be incredible as that.
But I just, after the Lone Ranger...
Well, that's the thing. It seems like Hollywood really, really want to give him a push.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think... He's definitely not going to be Luthor, but yeah, Aquaman. That's what we said.
You heard it here first.
But one person who is on our list and we spoke to was Stanley Tucci. And we spoke to him about who his favourite is, Batman or Superman. And he started saying a really cool story about him growing up.
Well, yeah, but I'm so old that I, watched the original Batman television series in the 1960s. So, that very sort of cartoony, and saw that, had the comic books and all that stuff. So I'm afraid I don't really have a preference.
You think he would make a good Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Like, he's really, really good in Hunger Games. Like, but obviously he plays like an absolute cartoon character in that. But if you think of him something like Lovely Bones, I know he plays another like really crazy character in that, but he could do really, really well. But then, he is tied to Captain America. So.
And Age of Extinction he's got coming up where I'm pretty sure he plays a similar sort of character to Luthor. He's like a rich guy who gets involved in stuff.
I love him though. I think he looks awesome. And he sort of got into the answer after a bit.
Yeah.
But the other big news that we've had, and I don't know what I think about this at all, is a rumor going out that apparently Batman is going to be taking on like a much quieter role, a Batman who doesn't speak and does all his crime fighting using bat drones.
He's not talking to Robin.
Yeah.
They've had a falling out, or Nightwing, hopefully.
Yeah. So that's the rumor. What do you think?
I think that it's kind of cool. Like if that's the place where he starts.
Yeah.
And maybe Superman's example and optimism sort of brings him out. And he becomes a hero again himself.
I don't know, man. I think someone on your thing said it. It sounds way too Iron Man-y.
Yeah, Rob Sinclair Davis says Drone sounds a bit Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, come to think of it.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that... So they're going to be shaped like Batman?
Yeah.
Like Robot Batman?
Robot Batman, yeah. That, in my head, they're like giant hulking Batman sort of thing. Like the giant Iron Man. Like sort of Big Bertha Iron Man.
Oh, interesting. So different styles.
But what were you thinking? Like an actual, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Batman and him?
Do you know what? I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, though, I'd rather that they did, if they're going to go down that route, I'd rather they did Batman Incorporated. They will never do that.
Yeah.
But that's where Batman basically establishes himself as kind of a corporation with different outlets in different countries. So different people take up the Batman or their version of
like
the
a
Batman.
Franchise.
Yeah, that's it, a franchise. So that would be super cool, but I don't want to see.
Top, isn't it?
I don't want to see Robot Batman.
Yeah, why do we care? Like maybe further down the line they could do that, but I think the thing that people have latched onto about this, rumored storyline, is the recluse Batman thing. So Chris Atkinson on Twitter says, "Do we need another reclusive Bruce so soon after Dark Knight Rises? We haven't seen a battle-scarred Bat at his best yet," which is true actually, because that did annoy a lot of people about Dark Knight Rises. Is you barely see him as Batman. Like he's sort of moping around with his cane and stuff like that. And it takes a good hour for him to actually suit up and start doing some stuff. Like,
that's true, actually.
so do you think the reclusive Batman needs to be something for like further down the line, or because it doesn't? Maybe they could do that. Maybe this is how they set up, this darker Batman franchise, and older Batman is in this. It's his last sort of hurrah with Superman, and then realizes then, okay, well, Superman's out and about. I can now go into, I can now sort of go to the sideline sort of thing.
Interesting. I guess Bat drones make sense in that you can see Superman destroying them.
Yeah.
So he'll swoop in and take them down.
Yeah.
And then Batman realizes that he actually has to come out of the cave and deal with Superman himself.
Yeah, maybe, because I guess that's
because with these things you need something for
that
Superman to smash up.
Yeah.
And
that's a really good point. So maybe that is true. I really hope not, though.
Yeah.
Like even though in Iron Man 3 I thought they handled it really well with all the drones, and I thought that was actually pretty cool. In Iron Man 2 it was like a robot against robot. They did it in Wolverine this year as well. When, Wolverine's fight, because they have to have something pretty strong to fight Wolverine.
Yeah.
So now he's an adamantium like old man in a big suit.
Spoilers.
Like, nothing can spoil that film other than actually going to see it. But I don't know. I'm fed up of just like giant robots. Like I love robots. I've got tattoos of robots on my arm, but I don't want to see robots.
No. Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's quite a cheap thing and an easy thing for Hollywood to do. Would be like, because as you said, they need to have Batman and Superman smashing through some stuff.
Yeah.
So what easier way to do that is a bunch of stuff that looks like Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, you make a really good point as well, because I didn't even think about this, but obviously if he's got the bat drones out there, he's not going to be sitting in the cave operating them in the suit, because that's ridiculous. So we will see...
He's going to be in his PJs.
In his PJs for half the film, and then Superman comes in, smashes them up, he has to come out of retirement, then they have to team up for a greater foe. The end. My God, this has been a super negative episode.
Deke on Twitter says, Batman is a very paranoid character. I think that would fit. I just want the story to be more linear.
Yeah. Daniel Moore says, no bat drones for me, thanks. I want to see the actual Batman.
Which is true. I think
Us
that's what
too,
everyone
Daniel.
sees. Like, if we don't see Batman for ages, like, I'm going to watch that film to see Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm not going to watch. I've seen Cavill as Superman. I don't need to see him. I may see him a little bit more as Clark, maybe. That'd be quite cool. But
that's going to be fun.
I'm going in. I want Batman straight away. I don't want to be waiting around. I don't want some dark shadow off to the sides and things like that. I want him straight in. But one person we haven't even talked about this week is Wonder Woman. That seems to have gone a little bit quiet. But we spoke to someone who I think would be a really cool Wonder Woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
We spoke to Elizabeth Banks on Hunger Games to find out who her favourite is, Batman or Superman. She got really into it and said, just without us even prompting her, that she wants to be in a superhero movie. So yes, sir.
Well, Batman's one of us, whereas Superman's an alien. So I probably would have to say Batman. Also, he's like an orphan. He didn't have any parents. So I feel sort of bad for him about that. But then again, Superman's got actual superpowers, which is pretty badass. So it's a toss-up for me.
And could you ever see yourself going into a superhero film? Maybe as your kind of
Sure.
action?
Yeah, let's do it right now. I would love it. I would love to fly around. I would love to kick butt. I absolutely harbor that fantasy 100%.
But that's pretty much it for this week. We'll be back on the 11th.
11th of December for the final show of the year. So hopefully we'll have some cool special stuff. So come back, and thanks for watching this.
Cheers.